I'm glad to welcome to our program today Dr. Eddie M. Connor Jr. Dr. Eddie Connor is a college professor and international speaker and founder of the literacy mentoring program Boys to Books. You don't know about Dr. Eddie Connor? You need to log on to eddieconnor.com. That's CONNOR.com. Dr. Eddie M. Connor is ready to unveil his sixth book, The My Brother's Keeper, available worldwide on Dr. King Day, January 18th. So it's so in divine order, all by God's grace, that we are welcoming this man back to the program today. Dr. Eddie Connor, we're so glad to have you on this morning.
Tracy, Ariel, my goodness, it's so great to be back on with you. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, and I always got to say it, as I've said before, you all are definitely the choice voice of choice, but the divas of the city, the Troy divas, divinely inspired, victorious, accomplished sisters.
Oh, I love that.
Just go, keep going.
Eddie can just start saying ABCs and it'll sound good.
It just sounds
He's like,
Eddie.
We love it, Dr. Connor.
Like you, I'd be the Adele of this.
Oh, get out of here. Well, I need to make some of Adele's money, okay? So it's all good. But we're so glad to have you on. Before we get the program started and start talking about this book, I love that, My Brother's Keeper, which again is going to be available on MLK Day, Dr. Martin Luther King Day, January 18th. But before we get to that, Dr. Eddie, talk to folks about this new year. Like we said at the top, we come into every December, we start talking about what we're going to change in January, and we normally do that on December 26th.
Yes.
And it's like, in 4 days, you want to do all that.
What about New Year's resolution now?
Yeah.
So I lose 20 pounds.
Yeah, okay. In 4 days. So talk to folks about, what you would really advise them to really keep top of mind as we get into this new year, and what folks should really resolve to commit to, in your opinion.
Absolutely, and the fact of the matter is, a new year means nothing if you have the same old mindset. And a calendar switch doesn't necessarily equate to different results if you have the same old mentality.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we welcome the new year with open arms, but really we have to make a change of a mindset. It goes like this. We all do it. This year I'm going to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut off negative people. I'm going back to school.
Right.
I'm going to eat better, this, that, and the other. But by the time February, March comes around, we're doing the same old way of doing things. And by December of 2016, when that rolls around, we're singing the shoulda, coulda, woulda song, what I used to do, or what I should have done, and we're making the same resolution in 2017 that we should have taken care of in 2016. Beyond resolution, I like what you said. It's not a resolution. We're resolving to do some things.
Yeah.
In order to resolve some things, I got to dissolve some things.
Ooh, I love that.
I got to get rid of some negative people. I got to get rid of stinking thinking.
Yes.
I can't make a resolution. I have to begin to make a transition. And when I make transitions in my mindset, in my relationships, and who I am, forget the resolution. Now I'm making a New Year's revolution.
Wow.
The revolution begins with me. And it ain't got to be televised, but it's got to be organized. I've got to strategize and mobilize to move my life to the next level. Because if it's going to get done this year, it ain't going to be with Pookie and Ray Ray. It ain't going to be with everybody else doing it. It's going to depend on you.
Yeah.
You got to have the gusto to go out and make it happen. You're a gift. God's already given you what you need. Stop looking around for what you need.
Yes.
Look within. It's already there. You just got to do something with it.
Wow. I have to say, a friend of mine said something so poignant, and she has it on her Facebook page, and I thought, wow, boom. A lot of times, ladies, some of us didn't. Well, let me just go there. We look for certain. I'm gonna go there for a minute this morning because we're into the new year, coming out of the holidays. We were looking for something with sparkle. It's like, oh, he better buy me them earrings, or he better buy me that bracelet. And a friend of mine has it on her Facebook, and she's wearing a really nice necklace. She said, please stop looking for him to give you the diamond necklace. You already have it around your neck. And that was so powerful. Just like what you're saying, Dr. Eddie, waiting for someone to show up and make it happen for us. It's on you.
Yeah.
It's on you. So I love that. That resolve to dissolve.
I love that.
And then get busy from there, because you're so right. Unless we take out, these less than factors, we're not really going to add up anything this year. That is so true. What do you think, Dr. Eddie, that is so difficult for us to do? I guess because we've gotten into a groove or a habit or a routine of doing just the same old, even if it is to our detriment and not our benefit. Why is it so hard to get out of those negative thinking patterns and those negative habits and practices, do you think?
Well, Sir Isaac Newton has a law called inertia, law of inertia, which says objects in motion continue to stay in motion. Objects that are not in motion or that are stagnant will stay stagnant. He might as well just identified and just transitioned and substituted the word object for people. People in motion will stay in motion. People who are stagnant will stay stagnant. And oftentimes when we have allowed life to slow us down, when we have lowered our expectation based on what has happened in the past, we stop thinking about what will take place in the future. And oftentimes our past becomes our prison rather than becoming transportation for our future.
Wow.
We allow what the negative childhood development, what grandma and auntie, uncle and them said we'd never be, never overcome. We've allowed bad relationships and things that have gone astray and askew to stop us from moving forward and progressing. Yes, we're going to have some hurdles. Yes, we're going to be knocked down, but we're not knocked out unless we stay down. And what we have to do, we have to dust ourselves off. We have to appropriate God's greatness and His goodness and His gift on the inside of us to say, yes, I've had some battle scars. Yes, I got the wounds to prove it. Yes, I got a T-shirt, and I've been there too.
Right.
But I'm not going to quit on myself because somebody out there needs my testimony.
Wow.
Somebody out there needs what I have gone through so that they can have the energy and the wherewithal to move their life to the next level. And we have to not quit on ourselves. And the day you stop believing is the day you begin dying.
Wow.
But when you begin to appropriate your dream and appropriate the vision that you have on the inside of you, that's the vision that will propel you to move into place of provision.
Wow.
So that you can move your life to the next level. And I believe 2016 is a year of provision.
Yeah.
You gotta write that vision. You gotta make it plain, and then you also gotta run with it.
Wow.
And you can't walk with it. You gotta run with it.
Yes.
Your life to the next level.
Woo, love it. You all know why we get so excited when Dr. Eddie Connor is on the Focus Forum. That energy, that passion, I love it. You are listening to the Focus Forum, the first show of 2016. Ariel and I, as always, glad to be here with you this morning. We have welcomed Dr. Eddie M. Connor Jr., college professor, founder of the literacy mentoring program Boys to Books, an international speaker, and just a dynamic author. He has his 6th book, which is going to be unveiled on Dr. King Day, January 18th, My Brother's Keeper. And again, we're talking about how we can really get this new year off on the right foot, sharing this information, this insight with you. I want to go right into some of the themes you have here in the book, Dr. Connor, My Brother's Keeper. Let's talk a bit about, first of all, why you felt compelled to write this book. I know you don't do anything just thinking about it a day. I'm sure you have been really strategizing and really, planning to write this book for some time. But why did you feel compelled to write this book?
Well, you know what? I've been writing this book about 2.5, 3 years now.
Wow.
And I've been looking at the change of the culture and the climate of America. And, of course, we have been under attack from Trayvon Martin to Freddie Gray to the brothers in the community, our brothers in the hood, and things that have just gone askew in America. And really, I wrote this book from the whole aspect that our brothers are not stereotypes, but we are prototypes. And oftentimes, black men in America are looked at, and black boys and black men are looked at as liabilities rather than assets to their communities and universities. In essence, really, My Brother's Keeper is really a book of atonement. And it really, I really decided to highlight masculine responsibility, raising and mentoring our children, defending our community, and really making a way for our families. And this is going to really stimulate the tide to talk about what's going on in our churches, talk about what's going on in our schools and our communities, but not just talking about it, but bringing about strategies to implement. In 2012, I was working with former Congressman Hanson Clark, and I I gave him a proposal about my program, which is Voice to Books, Literacy, Leadership, Life Skill Development. And when we looked at the whole aspect of illiteracy in America, but in a microcosm aspect in the city of Detroit, 60% of the residents in the city of Detroit are functionally illiterate.
Right.
We developed a resolution which came to fruition, HRES 721. You can look it up online. It's a public record that received bipartisan support to provide opportunities for Black and Hispanic males in America. President Obama, 2 years later, picked up this same resolution that he and I developed and put language to, and developed the initiative My Brother's Keeper.
Wow.
Which was all about President Obama rolling out stepping stones and milestones for us Black males to achieve in America. I decided to build upon that and really categorize and strengthen our young men to move their life to the next level. And if you're a pastor, if you're an administrator, if you're a school leader, if you're a teacher, if you're a mentor, if you're a parent, you need this book, even if you just care about the complexity of what's going on in our community.
Right.
You can pre-order this book right now. And it's at eddieconnor.com, EDDIECONNOR.com. The revolution will not be televised, but it will be digitized.
I know that's
You can also go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of it. It's everywhere, but it's going to be released worldwide.
Wow.
On MLK Day.
Wow.
I wrote it from that whole aspect that I believe Dr. King would be proud.
Yes.
All right.
Wow.
Build upon the beloved community.
Love that. And what a great, what a great book for the new year. Really, get this book for yourself. If you have it, we all have some man in our life.
Some man is in our lives.
So anybody can buy the book, but absolutely, what a great book to share for this new year. In the book, you talk about 6 building blocks for boys to become men. And without giving everything away, what was your idea behind that and the premise of this whole idea?
Yeah, I've been working as the founder, but also a mentor for young men. I've been for the past 10 plus years on the high school as well as the collegiate level in the arena of that, and working with our young men specifically and getting a pulse of what they need. I tell our young men all the time, every young man needs a belt. Of course, we always demonize and really stigmatize our young men for their sagging pants.
Yeah.
But I believe if we pull up their sagging communities, if we pull up their sagging homes, if we pull up their sagging dreams, they'll pull up sagging grades, and as a result, they'll pull up sagging pants.
All right now.
Sometimes we hone in on everything that we think is negative and wrong with them, and so many times our young men are just void of love. They're void of respect. They're void of the things and the things in order for them to move their life to the next level. Economic development, empowerment, how to build upon their gifts, nurturing who they are on the inside, seeing that there's a Superman on the inside of them, that there's a king on the inside of them even. And so I speak directly to our boys. It's the manual for manhood. And if you are a boy, if you are a man, yes, you need this book. But if you are a lady who loves our boys and our men, you need this book too. Because this is a book that is inclusive of communities, to really not push our young men to prison, but to push them to Princeton. Not to push them to jail, but to Cornell and Yale. Not to do 4 years in a prison house, but to do 4 years at Morehouse. And we're living in this new Jim Crow, this age of mass incarceration. America's fascination with mass incarceration, where 1.2 million Black or Hispanic males are incarcerated. And really, this is a book that will strengthen our young men, even if they are incarcerated right now. It will free their mind. Malcolm X said that I was free even while I was in jail because I had something that was empowering me to move out of the prison that I was on the inside of. And so many times we're in a prison without bars. We're not physically incarcerated, but we're psychologically incarcerated. Moving our lives to the next, that prohibits us from moving our lives to the next level. And so this is a revolutionary book that I know will strengthen you. This is the most researched book that I've ever put together.
Wow.
The most arduous blood, sweat, tears that have gone into it as if I was writing to my own self or my own future children.
Yeah. If you're just joining us here on the Focus Forum, yes, we are starting off this new year 2016, our first program, the Focus Forum of this new year, and we're glad to have on the line Dr. Eddie M. Connor Jr., international speaker, college professor, author, founder of the literacy mentoring program Boys to Books, EddieConnor.com, EddieConnor.com. Again, learn more about what is his sixth book now, My Brother's Keeper, going to be available worldwide on Dr. King Day, January 18th, and Ariel and I so glad to have him on this morning. Let's go through more of these points, Ariel. Let's talk about the next one here.
Redefining manhood and masculinity.
Oh.
Now, that's a good one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I really had to look within the depth of my soul on that one. Oftentimes, really in this culture, in our communities, our brothers are taught not to show any emotion.
Yes, this is true.
To be really communicatively deficient. You know, I remember when I was riding a bike when I was a little kid, and I fell off the bike, and so many others probably as well. You can't cry. You're a man.
Right, you a
I'm 4
man.
years old now.
Right.
I'm not 44, I'm 4.
Right.
No, that's right.
Right.
I'm crying right now. Let me know I got up. I'm going to dry my tears. It's all right to cry, but just don't stay in a depressed state.
Wow.
How do we teach our young men how to communicate? I wrote a place in this book. It's called Superman Syndrome. That's one of the chapters.
Okay.
And it talks about the myth of masculinity. We always base masculinity on how much money we have, how many women are in our phone book,
Yes.
what kind of car we drive, what is on our back, what kind of woman is on our arm.
Right.
We base everything on the perception of manhood, but we're void of it. Manhood is not about what you possess from the waist below. Manhood is about what you possess from the neck up. It's my mentality. It's my development in my community. It's me reaching into the strength of who I am to help somebody else.
Wow.
One of the revolutionary rap music's lyrics suggests, if I can help somebody as I travel long, then my living shall not be in vain.
Amen.
And real men care about the least of these. Real men love. Real men communicate. Real men treat women like a queen.
Yes.
Real men empower their community. Real men mentor. Real men strengthen each other. Real men don't compete. Real men collaborate.
Yes.
Would you come on and get free?
Throwing my hands up like,
Yes. Yes. And let me just say this sidebar, because y'all know I always have a Tracyism every week. There's nothing more endearing to me than seeing a man cry. I don't know why. I don't want you to cry after I make you some mac and cheese, okay? But please, showing that raw emotion to me is so endearing. And I really feel like a lot of men have almost been commanded to never show any emotion. You better not cry. You better not let her know that you care. You better not show your heart. And that is the opposite of what should be happening. And that communication piece, Dr. Eddie Connor, is so important. Why is it that you think, and not all men, because some women have problems with communication too. I think some of us have a misconception of what communication is. You talking loud and saying nothing, that's not communication. You screaming to the top of your lungs, that's not communication. But what is it that I think there's a disconnect in wherein men don't feel that it's feasible to communicate? What is that about?
I dealt with that myself growing up without a father in my life. Not seeing the example of it and not having a man in your life. It takes a man being in your life to become a man.
Absolutely.
And when you have the example of what true manhood is, it shows you how to open up yourself. It shows you how to be not communicatively deficient, but communicatively proficient. Because communication is not just about what you say.
Yes.
Communication is also about how you listen. And then how you take that information and how you turn it into action. And when we take communication into action, we develop ourselves and we connect to other powerful brothers and sisters in our communities, and we understand that we are not liabilities to each other, but we're assets for each other. We have to be the living examples of that. It's the whole aspect of train up a child. It's the aspect of that, no man is an island, that we are a village. But if the village is torn down, if the village is broken, if the village is shattered, if the village is decimated, then you see the negative portrayals of what we see in our communities, and the negative, so to speak, the transitory methods. We see the negative narrative. But I believe that we have to develop our positive narrative. We have to share our story.
Right.
And we have to continue to mandate that oral tradition. Why did we stop sharing our story in our community?
Right.
We had a strong oral tradition of the people who we came from, the strength that we came from, that our history does not begin with slavery, but it begins with us understanding that we're kings and queens.
Right.
When we stop talking to each other, that's when we stop developing strategies to help each other.
Wow, so powerful.
Intergenerational transfer of wealth and wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Eddie Conner is our guest on the Focus Forum this morning. He has written a book called My Brother's Keeper. You've heard Dr. Conner on the Focus Forum before. Every time he comes on, it's powerful. I mean, every time we have a takeaway. I think the last time, Dr. Conner, you were on, we talked to the ladies a lot about love and relationships.
Yes, we did.
So I know some ladies are listening like, is this brother going to talk to us at all? He is talking to you. He is talking to you. I suggest you would you hear today, you speak it over with your men and your sons and your nephews and some other fellas that you know. He is talking to you, ladies. So take it how you need it and use it.
Yes.
Absolutely. As we're discussing this,
a real queen will empower the kid on the inside of a king.
you better. Well, okay now. All right. This is so true.
A real queen speaks to the king on the inside of you.
Yes.
She understands that she don't have to run up behind a man in gym shoes. But she can strut in heels, because
I know that's
she
right.
understands that if I'm always chasing a man, I'll never have one.
But
When I run after my purpose and my plan, the right man will chase me, and
I'll show up.
When I chase purpose, the right man will chase after me.
Yes.
And when I'm on the dance floor, God will let him cut in.
Okay.
I will leave that alone.
Now, did we not say, Ariel, in 2016, this has to happen? I resolve that this will happen. I talked about last year.
Dancing with the wrong partner.
Yeah, look, we can relate to that. Some women are like, aha, they have an aha moment. This bell's going off. It's so true. I talked about the fact that we have got to get Dr. Eddie in a forum, in a room alone.
Yes.
With these ladies, our mixed listeners, and JOB listeners, these younger women who need to hear this up front.
Yes.
We have to do that.
Maybe
this quarter. Coming up. I said it last year. And Dr. Eddie, I know he was a part of our town hall, a big town hall that we plan on doing at least 4 of those this year. But I really want to get you. I'm calling it the Love Summit. That has to come to fruition.
Yeah,
we have to.
We have to. Because
next month is February.
Yes.
So we're gonna put that. We're gonna put it together.
We're putting that down. We're gonna stand by. Stand by, Dr. Eddie Conner. I want that to happen. So it's so true, because I don't know what it is. Sometimes I've been in rooms with women where done workshops and speaking, and the women are always receptive and they love it. But it's something about a man walking in the room saying the same thing, and it's just like it's received well.
I receive it well. Seriously, I take advice from guys before I take advice from my girlfriends. I'm like, this is a man. It's coming from a man's point of view, so I believe him more than I believe you.
Yeah, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think a lot of times, one of my best friends in life is a male, and he always gives me the best advice. Yeah. I'm happy to have a great man in my life, but one of my best friends is a man, and when he talks to me about things, it's like, for some reason, he says the same thing that my girl just told me a week ago.
You hear what he's saying.
And I'm like, dang, Dre, you nailed that.
Nailed it.
What is it that you said? I don't know what it is. So we've got to get Dr. Eddie in front of these women. I know that's going to be the Love Summit. That's what we're calling it, Detroit. So when it happens, you'll know what time it is.
I'm on it.
All right. Yes. Before we get to wrap up, this time goes so fast. We're already, 5 minutes to go on our program this morning. But so glad you joined us, Dr. Eddie Conner. The book, My Brother's Keeper, available worldwide on Dr. King Day. Let's talk about some other points you really want to drive home about this book, what you want folks to know as we get into this new year. This is serious now. We have a lot, folks talk about the news, but what's going on in your house, in your world, that you need to change right now? Talk to these folks about a call to action that you have for them, Dr. Eddie Conner.
Well, it's a call to action, really, to care about the least of these, those who are lost, the left out, the overlooked, underserved, the underrepresented in our communities. And yes, we always do stand on the strength of civil rights, but we need to galvanize a new movement for civil rights. And that whole speaks to the aspect of the wealth inequality in America, us developing our own infrastructure, supporting black businesses, developing our new Paradise Valley, our new Black Bottom, and taking it to the top. There's a business that we have that's on the inside of us that we can create. We need to really redirect and re-evaluate the whole aspect of what do we place on onus and what is our specific value structure in our community. Is it based on what we can buy, how much we can floss and gloss and shine on the outside, or is it what we can invest in ourselves and contribute to one another? We got to place the whole aspect of education in our households, and we have to understand that yes, the parents, yes, have to be the first teacher, but we need to begin to share our history in that, and we need to begin to really empower and place a greater onus on our school system, that they begin to educate our children, that teachers begin to teach our history and our academics, so that our young people can be prepared for a global economy, for the next wave of what's going on in technology, and be ready for the real world. They say the average 12th grader has a 4th grade reading level, yes, in Metro Detroit, but also urban communities around the country. And so oftentimes we're behind the 8 ball. We have to have spiritual renewal, development, and we can begin to do it with what we have. And I believe it's our time to put our hand to the plow. This is our time. If you care about anybody other than yourself, that means you want to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty and work to help somebody else's life move to the next level. That is why this book, My Brother's Keeper, is so imperative, is so important. It sets the phase for the blueprint for how we build and galvanize our communities. You got to get it into your hand, because when you do and read it, you'll get it into your heart. If you're a teacher, if you're a pastor, if you're an administrator, if you're a parent, if you're a mentor, if you're just somebody who cares about anybody, get this book, My Brother's Keeper. It will revolutionize your world. EddieConner.com.
All right. Dr. Eddie Conner, such a pleasure, and we'll be in touch. We really want to do big things in 2016, and I know you're going to be a part of that dynamic. And you know how we feel about you. We appreciate you so much. I love your passion, your dedication to our people, to really, really, really just making such a huge impact just in this space that you have. And I appreciate that. Absolutely. So we'll be in touch.
Yes, we definitely
will. All right. Dr. Eddie Conner, thank you.